We're now back with the head coach of Sun Devil Baseball, Willie Bloomquist, entering his third year at the helm of Sun Devil Baseball. And Coach, I know fans kind of have opening day circled. It's like an advent calendar, pulling off the cards each day to opening day. What's it like for you, though, knowing that you are so close? Is there any stress, or are you just ready to get going?
No, I think we're ready to get going. We've been doing drill work at daily and inner squatting and that type of stuff. It's that point in time where we're kind of getting burnt out on it. We're ready to face a different uniform and stack up against somebody else. And for me personally, yeah, you can tell it's game week. All of a sudden I wake up in the middle of the night thinking about things that maybe we haven't covered and I got to remember to do that, and it's definitely game week. So some butterflies are starting to creep in a little bit, and the excitement's starting to build. So we're excited. We're ready to play somebody new, and it's definitely baseball season.
You mentioned playing somebody new, and you'll be doing that really all year long in the brand new Big 12. That's been a talking point on this show all year long, and we've talked to so many different coaches. But specifically for baseball, this is a conference that has a great history, of course, new look, losing Oklahoma and Texas, but gaining so much talent as well. What are kind of your thoughts on this Big 12 conference, and what are you expecting when that point in the season eventually does arrive?
I think it's it'll be obviously be new and exciting because we haven't played these teams before, and that in and of itself will be new and different, and there'll be some buzz around it each time we play a new team. It'll be interesting to see what brand of baseball they play, whereas obviously we're pretty historically aware of how our teams in the Pac-12 used to play, and now we're learning something new. But the good news is we'll be new to them as well. So having that different travel, seeing different cities, things like that, different campuses will be new and obviously exciting for us. But the main goal remains is going there with the intent to win and win series and win games. So but it'll be we have a tough test coming up on Friday with Ohio State, and we'll be focused on them until it's not to be focused on them anymore.
Well, and it is such a luxury to be able to play here. So we got the cameo from Eddie. This is more important than anything I'm going to ask Willie today. Eddie joining us here on the set, and he is as great as you can imagine. I was going to ask you about your Friday night starter. That's where I was going to go. Ben Jacobs, who is going to be joining us in just a moment. Obviously someone that emerged last year for you guys, and now a lot of hype around what he can do for you guys as that number one guy at the top of the rotation this year. What can you say about his arsenal and really his progression that you saw last year and through this offseason as well?
Well, I think his arsenal has always been there. It's just a matter of being able to put the mental piece of it together with him, and that's something that when we got him, it was a bit of a challenge, to get him to, turn the page from one pitch to the next and really focus on the next pitch and control the things that you're able to control, and not deal with you can't field the ball behind you. You can only throw it and have conviction where you throw it, and then the rest is up to can't control the results. So getting him to buy into that and really see him start to believe in himself and flourish and trust his arsenal, and then just kind of really embrace the fact that, dude, you're pretty dang good if you trust your stuff and go attack hitters and not beat yourself by letting your emotions get the best of you or whatever. Just to really see him develop and grow as a young man has been pretty neat for us as a staff to witness. And then obviously he's going to take the ball as our ace, as our horse on Friday night. So we're, as long as he can continue to keep his emotions in check and just go compete the way he's capable, man, sky's the limit for that kid. He just continues to get better and better.
It's easy at times for someone like Ben where you don't see the work that he's putting in from behind closed doors for fans I'm speaking of here. Was there a moment last year, even through the offseason, where you kind of saw it click for him?
I think it was kind of about midway through the season. He wanted to be the weekend starter, coming into the year last year. And I said, Benny, man, you got the stuff to do it. You're just not ready. You're not ready. So just go get outs whenever we ask you to get outs, or wherever. It might be in the middle of a game, might be at the beginning of a game or the end of the game. But wherever we put you in, we're going to need you to go get outs. And so he kind of bought into that. It took him a little while because he, the ego wanted him to be a weekend guy. And
sure.
I said, you never know how this is going to pan out. You just go throw the ball the way you're capable of, and things will work out the way it's supposed to. Kind of about halfway through that season, he really started clicking, and then he had the ball against his former teammates again at UCLA, and I think he threw 6 innings there of either shutout or one-run baseball there, and just had a great game against them. And then you just saw the chest perch out, and things started clicking, and he was walking around like he was the big dog, and he had a great rest of the year. And then very, very cool as the head coach. Great moment was for me to be able to call him and let him know that he made the USA team, and that was an emotional moment for him, really, and for me too. Just to see where he's come from and where he's at now and where he can get to, right? And he just, like I said, continues to progress and get better.
What was that call like?
I just told him, I said, I remember the first scrimmage we had when you pitched and you had an 0-2 count and you gave up a fastball base hit to left center field, and you were pouting and stomping around the mound and throwing your hands up in the air. Why can't I blow it by, guys? And I'm like, dude, we got a lot of work to do with this kid. He's got good stuff, but he's got to control the emotions better. I said, so we went from that to wanting to be a Friday night starter to you being a guy out of the bullpen to becoming a starter. I said, now you're pitching for the United States this summer. And he got all choked up. I get a little choked up thinking about it too, but
sure.
It's like, that's how good you can be if you trust your stuff and trust what you're doing and believe in yourself and not get caught up in all the external factors. So to see where he's come from again, it's just been very, very neat as a coaching staff. And now, we'll see how he handles the quote unquote expectations of being that guy. But I think, he's certainly grown a lot maturity wise, and I think he'll be able to handle it just fine.
Chatting with Willie Bloomquist ahead of Sun Devil baseball getting their season going on Friday night against Ohio State. A very exciting season ahead for the Sun Devils. A brand new pitching coach for you guys coming in this year, Jeremy Accardo, and of course his resume kind of speaks for itself. Valley local product, a long pro career, and then coaching prowess at the highest levels as well. What's he bringing to the program, and what's it been like in the first few months of him being on the job?
Yeah, Jeremy's been great. First off, kudos to Sam Peraza. Sammy got dealt with a pretty tough hand, for the first 3 years here, and he's been very instrumental in helping us build this place and getting the right arms in here that we feel can help build this program back. But at the end of the day, we decided to keep Sammy in a different role. And bring in Jeremy, who I think could give us a little nudge in the right direction. And he's been absolutely outstanding with these guys. And just, I'm not a huge analytics guy, but we've been able to use, the pitching lab now that we got that completed and finished, use all the tools and bells and whistles that are in that thing and use it to our advantage. And really, it's been eye-opening for me to learn that analytics side of the game. That I was always kind of closed off to, but now seeing actually how it works and using it as a tool, I guess, and to really teach these young men, why their repertoires play the way they do and what makes them good, and ultimately have them buy into it and see the results that we're having. I kid about it. These last 4 or 5 months, our offense has taken a black eye or two from our pitching staff, and usually it's the other way around where I'm going, gosh dang, are we going to be able to get anybody out? And I'm kind of sitting here going, are we going to be able to get any hits, this year? Because they just continue to carve us up left and right. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but we'll find out here pretty soon. But at the end of the day, these guys seem to be, from a pitching staff, buying in to what we're doing, and just seeing their confidence walking around the mound has been refreshing.
Yeah, that's really great to see, especially, like you said, years past might not have been the case, but to hear that's how it's been, at least so far, preparing for the season, that's a welcome sight for sure. The old adage, one day at a time, I know that fans might roll their eyes, but especially in baseball, you truly have to take it that way, it seems. And last couple of years where you guys maybe were 1 or 2 games short of getting that call into the tournament, is that something you are preaching heavily, and how have you seen the response in terms of taking it that one day at a time going into this year?
Oh, we break it down a lot more than that. So people say one day at a time. I break it down much more than that, to where it's one pitch at a time, one thought at a time, that one difference of not covering that one little specific detail ultimately leads to us losing a game by 1 run, which in the long run costs us, a regional berth or whatever it has in the past couple years. So we've been very, very detail oriented, I think, this fall, more so than we ever have before. really trying to cover every detail, and making sure that this is how we do things and implement our style with those the way we coach and the way we want it done. Is it perfect? No, absolutely not. These are kids that are still learning and growing, but it's our job to teach them. And so to try and implement those details and really just get them to focus on the importance of the process versus wanting the end result, right? So if we do that, we focus on the details of the process, then the results hopefully will take care of themselves.
Your core of returners in terms of position players in the lineup, I know you're saying you're worrying a little bit if you're going to score any runs. Well, history would suggest that's not going to be an issue. You've got some big-time bats in the lineup. In terms of riding out 1 through 9, try to look at it from an opponent's standpoint, I guess, for a second. How deep is this lineup? I mean, it's got to be a lot of fun writing some of those names in there.
It's a lot of fun, and it's a challenge at the same time because we have 40 alpha males down in that locker room
Sure.
that think they should be in the lineup every day or think they should be on the bump every day. And right now this is hopefully a sign of a program's getting healthier, in the fact that, man, I don't know who to write in the lineup every day because these guys are competing against each other, and if somebody stubs their toe, for lack of a better term, and is scuffling, we got dudes that are behind them that are ready to take over and jump in and contribute right away. So it's good problems to have. Knock on wood, we're healthy right now,
Right.
finally, for the first time in a long time, where we have everybody that's on point, ready to go. So for me, I actually get a chance to write my starting 9, and then have moves throughout the game that I can use possibly to help us win a game, which I haven't really had that luxury in the past of being able to use certain guys in different situations for fear that we just didn't have any depth. And the reason, if somebody were to get dinged, shoot, I'm putting a pitcher out there to play a position or something. So very, very deep, very talented lineup and guys that can do multiple things. So we'll see how that shakes out, and ultimately who gets the lion's share of playing time when the lights come on. We'll see how that pans out. Initially, we'll mix some guys in there and see how they respond to it. But I'm excited about writing the first 9 in there on Friday night.
Yeah, and I think Sun Devil Nation's very excited to be back out at the ballpark. I mean, it's always great to be here. And I wanted to ask you about, the news that came down. I know it's kind of been out in the open a little bit for a while now, but the renovations to Muni and obviously the added scholarships as well. And I know you talked about that last week with the media at large, but wanted to get your thoughts on here as well, just what this means to this program. It's already a beautiful ballpark, but to up that as well alongside with the added scholarships.
Well, I think when you take a look at it from a recruiting standpoint, you go, okay, it's February 10th and it's 80 degrees out here. We're doing an interview in short sleeves. Well, I got long sleeves, but you're in short sleeves, right, and it's beautiful sunshine.
Can't beat it.
Where else are you going to find that
Nope.
in the country? Go walk on campus and see the academics piece of that and everything that goes on over on campus, and then the beautiful ballpark that we get the chance to play in. Our coaching staff that we have, right? What are we missing here? Why would a kid not want to come and play here?
Right.
And so at the end of the day, it's like, well, in today's landscape, it's challenging when we're going up against the almighty dollar bills and what some other programs have that ultimately we don't when it comes to that front. So I think our administration, Graham Rossini, Dr. Crow, they're the importance of baseball being successful, and they're realizing that this is what Arizona State is known for, is our baseball program. We have to give them the resources to be successful. So them being willing to recognize that and give us what we need, is just a huge. Obviously, I'm very thankful for it, because now we're in recruiting conversations where we don't have to worry so much about are we going to ask a family to come out of pocket in order to come here? We
Sure.
really like you, little Johnny, but come here and pay $30,000 to go to school here and play for us. Now we have that luxury of being able to say, hey man, we got you taken care of. We really want you. Come here and play for us, and we got you taken care of. It's a much easier sell from my standpoint. We are able to target those, the cream of the crop in the country, and now we have the resources to do it and to go along with the sunshine and the weather and the beautiful campus and everything that we have to offer here at Arizona State with the academics. And you throw that on top of it, it really, really helps us emphasize the importance that our baseball program needs to get on the right track and win.
Being an alum of this program yourself, and obviously with all the great names that have gone through this program, you can say it's a top mark ledger to be a Sun Devil baseball alum. Well, when you're recruiting now, you could also say you could be an AD. So what's it been like knowing Graham Rossini, getting to work with him for this first year? This is his show, of course, but, as you said, he knows the value of this program because he lived it. And he went to Omaha with this program. What's it been like working with Graham?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. When you have somebody that is passionate about sports, that's passionate about the state of Arizona, the city of Phoenix, and ultimately Arizona State University, the way Graham is. And yes, obviously he understands the importance of our baseball program and wants to give us the things that we need to be successful. So, but also every athletic department that he's working with right now, with football, volleyball, men's and women's basketball, hockey, all those sports that across the board that are doing well. He's got a hand in that, and I think obviously I'm selfish and I'm lucky because he's a baseball guy at heart, and I'll take that where I can get it. But he's just very passionate about this university. And just having him, arm in arm with me as the head coach, knowing what I need and what this program needs. The maroon and gold runs deep with him, and especially this program that knows how special it is to him and to this city. He wants us to be successful. So from that standpoint, I'm very blessed, very lucky. To work for Graham now, where we were kind of alongside. Now it's to work for him. And it's a blessing, and all of Arizona State is pumped to have him as our AD, and I think just the pulse along all of our coaches is just we're so excited to have him at the helm of this thing. So, and I think the people in the Valley are excited too.
Valley's activated, and that goes well beyond football, right?
Yes.
When did you first come across Graham? Obviously, like you said, you guys, I'm assuming, have known each other for a long time.
Well, it was ASU baseball, back in the late 90s when I was here, and Graham tried out for the team at that point in time and was part of it. And then I think there was a coming to Jesus moment where he realized that maybe he wasn't quite good enough to be on the field. If you would have seen him play in the softball game a couple weeks ago, you might argue that point that maybe he could have been good enough to be on the field. But at the end of the day, he chose to still remain part of the program. Murph had him as our, student manager, baseball ops guy, and he worked for Murph for several years before ultimately getting a job with the D-backs and climbing the ladder there under Derek Hall and doing some great things in the Valley with the Diamondbacks, and then before he came back here.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we met, and we've remained very close ever since then, and it's amazing how paths bring you back together, and it always seems to come back to our wonderful university at Arizona State and the program. It always seems to come back full circle.
Back home, right?
Back home, where we belong.
Well, here we are, Coach, just a couple days away, and as this is released, we're talking here on a Tuesday. It's going to be even closer to first pitch. I know you're excited. Hopefully not too many more nights waking up thinking about different moves you'll make, but here we go. Friday night, 6:30, Ohio State, and I know Sun Devil Nation will be out here in full support all weekend long, a couple of day games as well on Saturday and Sunday. And we'll get things going. Like you said, no better place to be than right here at Muni in the state of Arizona. This is what it's all about.
No, this is where we're supposed to be, and we're obviously excited about it. And, Ohio State's going to have a big fan base, so Sun Devil Nation, we need you out here at Muni this weekend. We can't let the Buckeye fans overpower us here in our own home stadium. So we need everybody out here in full support, and I think we'll put on a good show this weekend.
You heard the call. Bring the wife, bring the girlfriend, whatever it is. Valentine's Day at Muni on Friday night. That's what your plan should be. Willie Bloomquist joining us here on Sun Devil Extra. Baseball is back, and it is a great time to be a Sun Devil. Good luck this season, Coach, and we'll hopefully be chatting with you again real soon.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you having me.
We'll be right back.